pretty obvious for anyone who has used our site that the consumer is actually leaving our website and going to somewhere else, see the details. We often receive feedback from consumers saying, why is your site, yellow or blue there when all the other pages are green? So it's a very strong data point that from an average consumer's perspective, when they go online and they research real estate, it's a real estate experience and they're blaming everyone in the process for something wrong. But the reason I'm telling this story is we take data quality extremely seriously, and we've been trying to work, with our partners and trying to figure out ways to improve the quality on sites like Trulia, not just us, but other sort of syndication sites as well. So this is one example how we, beyond sort of specific products or that kind of thing, how we work very closely and feel that we're very much in the same boat, that we don't see myself all on the vendor or the sides of the table. We're trying to solve the same problem. That's one example. In terms of specific products, there's a couple of things that some MLSs are using across the nation. I mentioned earlier that we can provide additional revenue streams for companies who are, or MLSs that are set up to promote or market products to their members. One of the premium products that we have for agents is called Trulia Pro, so we have revenue share agreements and co-marketing agreements with some MLSs. So that's one example. Another example is we have a so-called publishing platform. It's kind of an off-the-shelf white label version of the Trulia site, and traditionally it's being used by media companies. We have about 210 media companies, anything from CNN Money to Washington Post to US Global News is using this platform. It's basically a Trulia experience, white labeled and customized to look like your site. And then some MLSs who are using that as or associations using that as a front end to search listings. So those are two examples of what we've done. But we are not, by no means, we are sort of business-to-business lender or website builder or anything like that. That's not our business, but some of the tools that we provide MLSs have found that simple value.
Carl, if I could pose a question to you in terms of, we've heard some examples of Houston building tools and products and services in-house, going outside to get services and that sort of thing. Is there anything that Normals is doing now or in the future that, from a benefits delivery perspective, you can share with the audience that might be helpful to them?
Sure. Well, with regards to the vendors, we have a lot of respect for the vendors, and we have a great relationship with vendors. In fact, we are a vendor. So we certainly understand what they go through.
Do you know which hat you put on them?
Yes, that's the confusion. We always try to make sure we know what hat we're wearing. We have developed a tool in-house. One of the things we have learned is that as vendors, for instance, try to provide, and I'll take the easy one, and that's building a website for a member. We never did like to dictate. I know that there are some MLSs that feel that, well, if I can control this and I can control that, I can make it better for everybody, and that's their heartfelt belief. They think they're really making it better. Our philosophy has been that if there's a vendor that has a really good mousetrap, let them use it, let them sell it, and make it easy for them to deliver it. So what we found was that in website development for our brokers and agents, what we do to get in the way of that vendor adds cost to our members. So we said, well, RETS, for instance, NAR has that policy that we have to be RETS compliant, which we have been from the get-go. In fact, Normals, a lot of people may not recall this, but way back in, it was still 1990-something, Normals was the first site to use RETS and test RETS. And at that time, it was an old legacy system. It was Compass that was used. And so what happened was we've always been on the cutting edge of things, but quietly in the background. And I guess our analysis was the right size for testing this product, and that allowed people to use a standard that was very helpful. But what we found is that RETS is complicated. It's a standard, but it's a complicated standard. If someone was just going to have a beautiful interactive website built, and they had a developer that didn't know how to really manipulate the RETS, it became, instead of a facilitator, it sometimes became a blockade. And so we looked at that, and we looked at other things that MLS wants to do with its data, and we found that if we could send the data in any way that the person, the broker, the vendor, or whoever wants it, it would save them money and time in development. So we have developed something called Retskini. It's a misnomer, I know, because it's not Ret. It works with Ret, but it's Retskini, and you can go to retskini.com. There'll be continually more information, and you'll see a paper being developed right now by Clarity Consulting, which will compare Retskini with some other products, and we'll give you a little more detail. That'll come out in about a week. We developed this, and it'll take and send. We can, as an MLS, we can control what data is pushed. We can push it using FTP or HTTP formats. It'll go in HTML. It'll go Excel, PDF, RSS, whatever a person wants to do or use with it. So it's very flexible. So it takes the data and makes it very easy to slice and dice and use. And what happens then is a vendor who's developing websites is able to say they prefer NFTP or HTTP. We can send it in that format. The MLS has a dashboard, makes it very easy. You can see the jobs running once they're set up. You can control it from this dashboard. We've made it user-friendly. Why I started the development was we had a company doing our exporting of data, and I had to have one of my high-tech people set up that feed. Now, I had another staff person who managed the all of the feeds contractually, but as soon as he got all the paperwork done, he had to hand it over to this other person who was very busy in the higher tech field, and they had to set up these feeds. I said, why can't Keith do it all by himself instead of having to bother Chris? That's what happened. So we developed this so that now Keith then could set up the vendor or the broker feed and actually do the whole thing from soup to nuts and not bother Chris. And then we said, well, let's take it to the next step. What about listing syndication? Everybody seems to be interested in syndication. So we have a RET standard and a RET deluxe. Deluxe does all the syndication.
Excuse me for interrupting. This is important information, but we only have an hour.
Okay. In closing that, what I will say is that what really we did was we developed a product that will actually feed this information. Why I gave you so much detail, I apologize for that. Why I gave you all that detail was simply that we will license it to MLS. We developed it not to make money and to make it easier, but also to share with fellow MLSs. And so we will license that product at cost and spread the cost. So basically for like $12,000 one time and you own it, and we'll give you the source code. The MLS can go ahead and do all these things. So sorry for the long answer.
Thank you for that information. It's important. I want the audience to be able to ask some specific questions also, but I'm going to ask one last question of Art. You had mentioned you're tired of paying vendors for 10% market. I forget exactly the words you used. But I'd like you to address that a little bit more in terms of, are there products that you see you could provide better, easier, less expensively than the vendor could, or are these products typically that MRMLS